Hello, my name is Carrie Nath, and I am a theater, dance, and movement artist based out of Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm on the Nebraska Arts Council Artist in the Schools roster. And today I would like to share with you one of my favorite art forms, Commedia dell'arte. I'll say it, then you say it. Commedia dell'arte. Now say it like you're really scared. Commedia dell'arte. And now, like it is the best kept secret that you've been holding on to for a week. Commedia dell'arte. Commedia dell'arte. So today, we're going to learn a little bit about the history. We are going to learn some mime technique, meet the stock characters, and then take a look at some comic lazzi or comic scenes that you can do at home with your friends, your family, even your stuffed animals. I often cast my stuffed animals. I still do it today. I'm going to admit it. So where did it all begin? Commedia dell'arte was really popular in the 16th to the 18th centuries, so 1500s to 1700s. And it first started European countries. Italy, we could debate that fact, but we're going to say Italy. And generally, street vendors would use it to draw attention to their stall where they were selling goods, like you might see in a farmer's market today, right? So imagine you're at the farmer's market, suddenly you see somebody breathing fire or juggling or tumbling down the middle of town square. Well, you're going over to that stall, right? Well, then there were primarily 5 families, also arguable if you want to have a longer discussion. Just check me out on the roster. The Adriani family decided they're going to get together and travel from town to town and make people laugh and provide story and sometimes political commentary. So they would roll into town in a caravan, drop the side down off this trailer, make it into a stage, sometimes even just perform right there on the ground in the town square. And they would perform these scenes utilizing what were called these stock characters, and we'll meet those in a moment. So imagine you're traveling from town to town, there might be 200 people in the crowd, and you have to be able to make your story points really clear. So one way we could do that is to make sure our gesture is really full, and maybe even without words, just use mime, our gesture, to say what we want to say. So let's practice a little bit of that mime technique, shall we? I'm going to push my chair out of the way. However, you can do any of these movements seated in a chair. You could use your upper body. You could even just use your head and give us your expression. I'm going to stand up, so if you'd like to join me, please feel free. And I need to move my camera down a little because you will need to see my whole body, or at least as much of it as possible. So mime technique, we're going to practice this in a very simple way, which includes an introduction of yourself. How easy is that, right? And we'll use 3 lines. The first line is, hello. Then, my name is, and the third line, I love, and something you love. So hello, my name is, and fill it in with your name, and I love something that you love. So mine might look like this. Hello, my name is Carrie. I love puppies. Now, you give it a try. Pause the recording for a moment, pause the video, and practice your introduction. Awesome. Now, I'd like to put a gesture with each one of those things, a gesture for hello, a gesture for your name, and a gesture for the thing that you love. So let's start with hello. I say hello like this. Hello. You might say it like this. Hello. Or hello. However you would say hello. Pause the video and practice your gesture for hello. Welcome back. Now we're going to do a gesture for our name. My name is Carrie. Now mine is a literal gesture. I could say, oh, Carrie, like I'm carrying something. But I could also use a gesture to say something about who I am, and I'm pretty nutty. So I'm going to do this. Carrie. Now you pause the video and make up a gesture for your name. Excellent. All right, our final line is I love, and I love puppies. So my gesture might be this. I love puppies. Now you pause and come up with something for your thing that you love. Fantastic. Now, we're going to put all those together, and I need to show you a couple of other gestures to make this clear. So we'll start with the hello. My name is, I love, with these additional gestures. So first, hello. My name is, and when you say my name is, you're going to point both hands to your chest. My name is Carrie. And then you're going to bring those hands back to your chest. I love puppies. So if I did my whole introduction with gesture, it would look like this. I'm going to start in a neutral position. Hello, my name is Carrie. I love puppies. Now, you pause the video and practice your introduction. And another helpful hint, we want to make sure it's a smooth introduction. So be careful of dropping your hands in between each line. It would look like this. Hello, my name is Carrie. I love puppies. No. We don't want to do that. One smooth line. Hello, my name is Carrie. I love puppies. Awesome. Now pause the video and give it a try. You are doing such an awesome job. Now, as you can imagine with mime, I mentioned before, mime means gesture, but no words. So you probably already guessed it. Yep. We're going to do the introduction, but take away the words. So my introduction would look like this. Start in that neutral position. Now you pause the video and you give it a try. Awesome sauce. We're going to celebrate in true Commedia fashion. Woo-hoo! So take a nice little run around your apartment, your house, maybe you're outside. Woo-hoo! Excellent. Now it's time to meet these stock characters. What does it mean to be a stock character? Well, it meant primarily that those actors, like today, actors might play hundreds of roles in their lifetime. But in Commedia, if they had a stock character, oftentimes they would play that character maybe all of their life, or if it was a younger character, and as they got older, they might move into a different character, but they really refined and played those characters throughout their lifetime, so you can imagine how good they were after all of that rehearsal, right? So I'm going to tilt this camera just a little bit more so that you'll be able to see more of my legs as well, because we are going to meet these stock characters and see their masks. Another thing true to Commedia is that each character would have their own mask and a costume that was easily identifiable. So the minute that character stepped out, even if you were the 300th person at the back of the town square, you knew who that character was. Other thing about Commedia, again, why we use so much of our body and expression, is because the half mask, this part of your face was the expression only of the mask. And so your body had to express, whether that's upper body or even your head, had to express what you were feeling, thinking, and doing. Right? So we'll meet these stock characters, and we're going to start with my friend Pantalone. I'm going to say it, then you say it. Pantalone. Pantalone was this guy right here, and I have played him many a time. But look at that. Is he older or younger? He looks older, doesn't he? You can tell the wrinkles in the forehead, the gray in the mustache, right? Very wealthy, had a lot of money, very jealous and very tight with his money, right? He wouldn't lend money to anybody. They always had to earn it from him or trick it out of him, right? And he also, when he walked out on stage, he would have I call it like a onesie, if you've ever seen what babies wear, or adults have them too, truth be told. So it was a all red onesie with a black robe, which meant he was more of a scholar, or he'd been educated. And oftentimes a fez, if you know what that's called. It's like a red box on your head with a tassel. It meant that he was really a world traveler, right? He had money. And I've also got a series of stock gesture to help us remember these characters. So I'm going to put on Master Pantalone. And to help us remember his name, we're going to do this gesture. Pantalone, right? He's old, he's tight with his money, 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 money. Pantalone. I'm going to do it, you do it. Pantalone. Awesome. Now, Pantalone had a servant that worked in his household, and his name was Arlecchino. Rolling those R's again. I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. And welcome to my studio in my house, yes? So Arlecchino, you'll notice he might be young, he might be older, but it's a very simple mask because he was a servant. He didn't have a whole lot of money. And you may know the character now called the Harlequin, with all the diamond shapes, like a clown with a mask like this, and diamond shapes, which really used to be like patches on his clothes. He was so poor, right? And I'll give you a hint on how to look up some of these other costumes at the end too. So we have Arlecchino, and he was an acrobat. He was a trickster, because here's the other secret. In Commedia, the servants always get one over on the masters. The servants are actually the smartest and trickiest in the household. He was a tumbler, an acrobat, and he loved to laugh with his whole body, right? So, and he was a showman, show person. So this is Arlecchino, right? I'm going to do it again, then you do it. Arlecchino. Excellent. Now he had a sidekick as well. And she would wear it, same mask, servant in the house, did not have a whole lot of money. She was sassy, she was smart, she was the smartest one in the household. And between Colombina and Arlecchino, they would oftentimes make Pantalone's life just crazy, right? So she was a sassy, smart servant, and this is her gesture. Colombina, and we're gonna shake those hips a little bit. Right? Or if you're in your chair, you can shimmy a little bit, right? Or even in your sassy head, right? Colombina. Go ahead, give it a try. Awesome. So to review from the top, we've got, I'll do it, then you do it. Pantalone, Arlecchino, Colombina. Now there was another man, oftentimes came to visit. And here he is, once again, older or younger? Looks older, doesn't he? Right? Had a mustache he might chew on to think, because he was a philosopher. His name was Dottore, which sounds like doctor, right? Dottore, but he was not a medical doctor. He was a doctor of philosophy. He knew everything, or at least he thought he did. You know those people who talk and talk and talk and talk and never say anything? That's Dottore. And he had a big belly because he had a lot of money and he loved to eat. Big belly. And he was always philosophizing, Dottore, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do it one more time, then you do it. Dottore, blah, blah, blah. Excellent. Now, I want to introduce you to Capitano. What does he look like? Strong jaw, right? High cheekbones. He was a captain, capitano, or so he said. Though really, we don't know for sure if he ever set foot on a ship. But he had a sash in his costume, and he had a sword at his side, and he was always from out of town, and he was filled with stories of bravado, right? How he had beaten 10,000 men with 1 foot and 1 hand tied behind his back, right? But anything, like a little mouse might scurry across the room and he'd run screaming into the street. And his name was Capitano. Here we go. And here is his stock gesture. Capitano! Woo! He gets 2 parts, the brave guy and then woo! I'm gonna do it again, then you do it. Capitano! Woo! Yes, excellent. He is so much fun to play. Oh, hey, I forgot to tell you about Colombina's sassy outfit. She would often wear, it was like a cleaning housewife's outfit that looked like a peasant skirt with a corset that laced up the front, because if you had money, they laced up the back. But if you had no money, you had to lace it up yourself. And she'd often have some sort of bonnet on her head. So that's Colombina's costume. All right, let's start from the top and review with our stock gesture. I'll do it, then you do it. Pantalone, Arlecchino, Colombina, Dottore, blah, 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 Capitano. Woo! Excellent. All right, now, the lovers. The lovers. You can tell we've got this lover here, more of what a female lover, and this lover, more of a male lover traditionally. Now, they can be played by men or women. He, she, they. During Commedia time, it was traditional male-female characters, but we can take that wherever we want today, right? So, the lovers, and they were wealthy. Oftentimes, especially the female lover, was the daughter of a pantalone. And they were in love with everything. They weren't stupid, but they were naive. They weren't very worldly, and they loved love. They loved being in love. They loved the fact that they could think about being in love with being in love. They just loved everything. And their stock gesture looked like this. The lovers. Oh. Now you do it. Awesome. They also, as you can imagine, being wealthy, dressed in beautiful gowns, and for the men, gorgeous doublets and trousers or pantaloons that were made of the best and finest silks and jewels everywhere. They were what they call the innamorata, the lovers. Our final character, and he was the troublemaker. Something about Arlecchino. When Arlecchino played tricks, he was never mean. He would go back and make up for it. He just really wanted people to be happy. But this trickster, and take a look at that mask. Oh, it looks like almost like a big predatory bird, doesn't it? He was a trickster from out of town who would oftentimes disguise himself as a pantalone in town or the dottore in town. And he would try to trick people and did not care, really didn't care if they got hurt. He was a very mean, probably the meanest of the characters. And his name is Brigella. And you notice, whereas Pantalone was here, Brigella is like tricky, ready to attack, ready to strike. Brigella. Now you go ahead and do it. Yes. All right, now let's review those from the top. Here we go. Find that neutral position and pantalone. Now you do it. Arlecchino, Colombina, dottore, blah, 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 capitano, ooh, the lovers, and Brigella, who you can imagine, because he came to town always never really dressed fine in his own clothes, didn't want to draw attention too much so that he could disguise them and play any one of these characters. So I'm going to pull up on the screen the names of the characters. If you want to go in and take a closer look at their costume, like the dottore, who's in scholar's robes with a scholar's hat and his big belly, or pantalone with his red onesie, right? Or Colombina and her sassy peasant. I'll go ahead and pull up this document so you can see the spelling. And I strongly encourage you to go on the website. You can find great pictures and old woodcuts, pictures that they cut them out of wood and would print onto paper. So if you want to take a look at any of them or all of them and see what their costumes look like, and also know that these types of characters still exist in all comedy today. If you went back and watched The Simpsons, or you watched any of your favorite comic shows, The Office, you'll see these same characters with these same qualities. Basically, it works. It ain't broke, so don't fix it, as we say. But these comic characters and storylines have stood the test of time, as we like to say. So you can come back to this portion in the video and look for those character names and look them up anytime you'd like. All right, so we have learned our history. We have learned those stock characters. We practiced our mime technique. And now the comic Lazzi themselves. So again, I'm going to pull up a document. And in here, as with the names of the characters, you can come back anytime in this video to this document. And there are 4 basic storylines, which you can, let me also say, if you are home by yourself and your stuffed animals are sleeping, you can also play both characters. It might be kind of fun. How would you play it if you were the Arlecchino? And then how would you play it if you were the Capitano, right? So you can come to any of these Lazzi, gather some family members together. If you're bringing people from next door, we're socially distanced, of course, and masked. So interesting, mask and mask, you'll really have to use full body expression. And you could take any one of these storylines and make them your own or do them just as they're written. So I hope that you have a ball putting them together, because it's one of my favorite things to do. Awesome. All right, well, we have one bonus track today, and that is, I shared with you some of my favorite masks, but now I'd like to show you how you can make a mask just from anything you find at home. So the bonus track, how to make a mask from things you have around the house. And we're going to use a paper plate today, is our primary piece. Know that if you don't have paper plates in your house, you can also cut out the backside of a box, like a cereal box, and use these same measurements and technique as well. So I got half a paper plate, and the first thing I do is fold that paper plate in half. And I don't want to fold it too hard because I don't want to crease in the middle of my mask, but I just make a little mark when I fold it so I can see that's where the center is, right? And then from that center line, I'm going to use my handy measuring tape, or you can just guess too, and come up about 2 inches, and I'm going to cut a curve up 2 inches into the mask. It'll look, when you're done, something like that. Now, from the top of that curve, and I'll go ahead and show you with this one, from the top of that curve, right, you'll measure out again about another 2 inches, and that'll show you where the center of your eye is, right, where the center of your eye. And then you can cut around it. I used a circle. You can use more of an almond shape if that's the shape you're looking for, or maybe a triangle, however you want that to look. But you'll cut around using that as where the center of your eye is, so that it's not uncomfortable when you go to put it over your eyes. Then I just took some markers. I have Crayola washable markers, and I colored in, this is my Arlecchino, but I wanted to add some of the bright diamond, sort of diamond shape, and then still kept the black part of the mask at the top. And then I just punched a couple of holes in the side. I have elastic at home, but you could use string, you could use yarn. I'm a lot of knitters today, it's super popular, so you probably have some yarn around your house, or a shoelace. If you've got an extra shoelace, you can use that as well, so that you can then safely secure the mask over your face like so. And voila, we've got an Arlecchino. I hope that you had fun learning today about Commedia. There's so much more we could talk about, but this is a great place to start. So I strongly encourage you to look those costumes up online, and then pick your scene that you would like to do. And you can start by creating an introduction for the character in the same way that we created introductions for ourselves. For instance, if I were Arlecchino, I might say, hello, I'm Arlecchino, and I love Commedia, right? Or whatever he loves. Introduce the character in that way. Do it with words, without words, and then put your scene together. And again, you can use words to create the scene. You can use gesture to create the scene. You could start with words and then take those out and use the mime technique. So once again, I hope you had a great time today. I loved being able to share one of my favorite art forms with you. And I hope to see you at the farmer's market drawing a crowd. Have a great rest of your day.